Welcome back to our final section of the night. We're going to wrap up this episode with the second topic in the 7 principles of leadership, which is be a passionate visionary. And from the before the break, be humble was our first category that we talked about. We had a little story, a little demonstration from a wrestling coach on how to properly execute a be humble philosophy and ultimately turned himself into a leader. Well, the next one is be a passionate visionary. And I want to first talk about a little bit about what it is to have a vision, right? So, in order to have a vision, we have to basically see something of ourselves or something in the future. And what I really want to know, what everyone to know, is that where there is no vision, the people will perish. And if you are in charge of anything, a business, a team, a family, whatever it is, if you don't have a vision for yourself and those people, they will perish. They will ultimately become idle hands. They will become dissatisfied, disgruntled, and they will ultimately perish. That thing will break down, whether it's a business, a team, a softball team, an internal team that drives an entire division of an industry, or if it's your family. You have to have a vision or the people will perish. And that comes from a proverb. So we know that it's true. So one of the things that I want to really get from you is how many of you feel like you're just buried right? Like, do you really feel like you can just add more to your plate and just keep rocking and rolling and really just drive forward? The average answer that I get, and I don't even say average answer, I want to say the vast majority answer I get is I feel buried, I feel overwhelmed. I don't even have time to think about my vision. Well, your vision has to be something that is actually a predominant focus for you. If you just change your mindset, like we talked at the beginning of the show, to know your value and focus on that vision, that's the art of seeing what is unseen in the future, right? You can do that. You can open up the time, you can open up yourself, and you can accomplish that. Now, I also want to talk about what it is to be passionate. And I'm going to spend some time here in this final segment about being passionate. Think of somebody real quick in your mind that is a really passionate person, or maybe they're not generally passionate, but they're passionate about something. And it could be their favorite food or restaurant, or it could be cars, or it could be some type of collectible, it could be a sport. I've got some friends of mine that are really passionate about pickleball because that has blown up in the country lately, and they are passionate about pickleball. And here's what I'll tell you about that passionate person and their pickleball, right? They're buying or doing their best to buy the very best equipment. They're scheduling time on the court. They're getting themselves into leagues so that they can be challenged and have more exposure. And they're trying to recruit their friends to come play pickleball as well. So a passionate person does various things. If I was just a visionary, if I just had a vision about being an awesome pickleball player, I would play some pickleball. I might read some articles or look at a YouTube, but the other things come with it when I truly become passionate. So I'm gonna hit us right there pretty hard. Okay. So a lot of you realize that you are passionate about your business, but you don't have to execute on your passion. And that's by drawing people in. So I want to tell you a story. This one, unfortunately, is a negative story about where somebody failed. So I've had a lot of exposure in law enforcement and SWAT with various leaders, literal leaders, as far as command positions, sergeant, lieutenants, captains, assistant chiefs, majors, all kinds of people. And then I've had people that were informal leaders. Maybe it's a peer of mine that just has a skill I don't have. So I have to lean on him to learn and be provided for in this little area. And that's the same in the business world. But one of the SWAT team leaders that I was familiar with led us through a SWAT team, which, by the way, 100% success rate for the over decade that I was on the team. So I'm darn happy with this SWAT team leader overall. I am by no means bad mouthing anyone. But I do want to point that he was a visionary. He had his vision of what this team could be and was going to be, and he was going to get it there. What he lacked is the proper execution of passion. So he had trouble talking to the upper ranks and getting more funding. He had trouble talking to some peers to get allotment of time and these little extra bonuses for training. And he had trouble getting equipment ordered because it had to be done a certain way in a certain time and a certain protocol with all of the policies and the red tape you got to cut through with government. And a passionate visionary draws other people into their vision. So yes, he would tell us about it. Yes, we would have an idea of where we want to go, but we were not involved in executing on that passion. Some of us were pretty excited. I was fairly new on the team when this guy was in charge and doing it. What he did is he tried to keep everything to himself. Okay? He tried to keep his vision to himself. There were some trust issues there, and there were some time issues and organization issues there. No human is perfect, and this guy was great in many categories. But in this little slice of the pie that I'm talking about today, he failed to draw people into his passion and into his vision. And it ultimately cost him that spot as the team leader, as they eventually replaced him with someone else that would execute their passion as a team. So he was great as a team leader tactically and logistically and as far as training and all those things. I mean, he developed some incredibly talented operators and snipers and medics. But the execution of the overall team model failed because he did not draw people back in. He let the organization overwhelm him. If somebody said, "Hey, I'm here to help," and he said, "No, it's okay, I've got it. Hey, I can carry this burden for you. That's okay, I've got it. Hey, I can turn in this stuff and write that report for you. That's okay. I want to type it. I got a couple things I want to say in there." And because he wanted his vision to be perfect, he didn't let his passion draw others in. So I really want to caution people on that. If you don't draw people into your passion or with your passion, if you don't draw them in with your passion, that vision will almost certainly never be accomplished. The next thing that need to do as a passionate visionary is you have to develop a plan of action. If you have no plan of action, your vision will be lost. So once you have the vision, you can see that invisible thing. It does not exist yet. You can see out in the horizon, the 1 year, 3 year, 5 years away. This is what we're going to be when we grow up. We're going to be this vision. You have to put in steps. You have to put in accountability. You have to put in an action plan that you and your calendar and your buddies and your teammates and your supervisors and your subordinates are all going to hold yourselves accountable to. If you don't do that, your passion will dwindle. Okay. Jocko Willink has a great statement literally about a vision without a plan of action is nothing. And I love that so much because it's so eagerly eagerly accepted by people that, yeah, we got to do something about this. Okay. So doing that, one of the key points is optimism in developing a plan. The reason optimism is so important when developing a plan is because you're going to be asking people to change or do something new or different. And do people like change? No, they do not. In fact, people fear change or hate change. But the only thing that we know that is actually consistent in life is change. So if we can get a little bit of our mindset adjusted to the value and creating strategic change, which is towards a vision with an action plan, then we're going to have a really, really good job of getting this accomplished. So your optimism doesn't have to be sunshine and unicorns, right? It doesn't have to be fake. In fact, that disingenuine optimism is really easily picked up by people and they don't like it, and it usually turns them off from wanting to join the vision. But it has to be genuine. Guys, I know this is tough. Guys, I know we got to sprint for a little while. I know we need to get over this hurdle. But after this hurdle, we're going to knock over the next couple of dominoes and life will look like this. It will feel like this. It will be like this. We'll be making more money. We'll have more time off. We'll have smoother processes. We may still be working 40 hours a week, but the hectic chaos will be lower. If we can just get this software implemented, if we can just get these two other big clients right here, we'll have hit our mark. We'll be $1 million or a $10 million company, whatever it is, and we can get there. And if you can draw in how it mutually benefits everyone, that's another way to do it. So with optimism, develop your action plan to recruit people for change to accomplish that vision. Because remember this, if I'm just working harder as, let's just call it a grunt, if I'm just working harder as a grunt to make the boss more money, well, that's not that great of a vision for me. I'm just gonna have to change and do more. I'm gonna get compensated the same, and this guy's gonna, go buy a new Porsche, right? So there's got to be a rising tide raises all ships. There's got to be a benefit for other people as well. And that's a huge part is that if you're passionate and you're a servant and you're humble, you will want everyone to rise with you. One of the things that we say in our offices and on our teams is that when I make more money, you make more money. That's plain and simple, right? It's not when the business makes more money, I make more money. That's foolish. That's really foolish. Do I want to make more money? Yeah, sure. Those green pieces of paper are really nice to have. But the nice thing to have is a non-toxic environment where everybody works together and tries to achieve the same thing every single day and supports each other. And that's what a passionate visionary can truly create and really push forward. So let me get in a little bit of a summary here as we close out our night. Okay. We talked in the beginning about your mindset, about how important it is to see yourself as valuable, your product and your work as valuable, and your team as valuable, and your time as valuable. And then you can start developing yourself in a value-based mindset and pushing yourself forward to that. Then we talked to a wonderful marketing expert who walked us through various steps and strategies on how to organically grow, to do it on a budget, and to understand some triggers of when to change our marketing, because that's going to really take your mindset and your execution of your vision, and it's going to broadcast it to the local city, the local community, the county, the state, the world even. So that marketing is important. And then if you are executing on your leadership and you're being humble, people will rally behind that. They'll be happy to support you as a customer, as a staff member, as a team member, as a third party. If you're coming in here and you're being passionate and visionary, I'm just telling you guys, passion is contagious. And if you are passionate visionary, the people will be contagious. They will be caught into your vision. They will want to join it. There's a very great movie called 12 O'Clock High about a bomber squadron in World War II, and about how the passionate visionary Contagious caught on, and he made a quote that says, "When I'm done here, everyone will want to be in the sky." And why that's important is only like 10% of the staff of an airfield actually get on the planes and run missions. The other 90% are all support staff. And we're going to make the 90% jealous, saying they wish they were on the planes in combat in the dangerous scenarios, because I have a vision for how we're going to execute. Everyone's going to want to get on the plane, guys. And that's what you want to do as a passionate visionary. So as we conclude tonight, I want you guys to go out there and see how you can actually put what we discussed tonight into practice. I hope you watch this show and take notes at the same time. And if not, play it back, take notes again. So what I want you to do as a reminder as we sign off, I'm Ryan Conn of Pivotal Change of CS Business Consulting and Shelton Associates CPA, and I'm happy to help anyone here. Feel free to call in, write in the show, leave comments, look us up on Instagram, whatever you need to do, and we'll look at getting you some help. But in the conclusion of the night, I want you to go out there and I want you to see the change and be the change. And we'll be seeing you next time on Pivotal Change.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.